What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is kind of an impromptu video. This is kind of an impromptu video. It's not planned. Most of my videos nowadays are impromptu, actually. I mean, those who watched me on the other channel know that I spent a tremendous amount of time planning out these videos that I was going to make, and I did PowerPoints and stuff. And eventually, I might go back to that selectively as part of a tier. Hey, Podcast. I've seen you on this page before. Um, Out of curiosity, where did you see my page from and when did you follow? What's up, Miss Snappy Kid? Yeah, so this is kind of just an interesting topic. So, to me, some people won't care about this topic, but I wanted to talk about the people who go on these reality TV shows and how we are towards those people as fans. And I'm not saying this as like an attack on anybody because I was the exact same way. You know, when I first started watching reality TV, characters to me. And some people still are, you know, some people get on the shows and they're trying to be a certain person and present a certain way so that they can get attention and they can get recast and all that. But generally, I saw everybody as characters. I viewed the stars of the show the same way that I viewed the stars of any scripted show. Like if somebody was scripted as a villain on a written out TV show. Oh, that's what's up. I think I remember you saying that actually. And I am pretty sure I subscribe to you. But if I haven't, I will do so because it looks like, based on your name, you got a podcasting channel. Yeah, so I had never met anybody from any of these shows until 20, 2020, I believe. And don't get me wrong here, because I know somebody will say, just because you've met somebody and just because you've spoken to them doesn't mean that if they did something wrong on a show that they should be absolved from that. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. I can meet somebody and wrong is wrong, whether they have spoken to me personally or not. But you sometimes start to get a different understanding of people after you meet them, is the point that I'm trying to make here. So I remember the first event that I ever attended. I met one of the first people I met of any of these shows that I follow is somebody that I hated for 2 decades. I hated them for 2 decades on TV. And that person is Jonathan Bananas. Johnny Bananas. You know, I rooted against this guy for years. And granted, there were actually some good reasons for that. But when I met him, oh, that's what's up. I've been to a lot of places, but I've never been to Mississippi. I'm in NYC over here from Canada. By way of Canada, I've lived in Massachusetts, Michigan, and Georgia for a temporary amount of time. Now I've been stationed in New York for the last 11 years now. Yeah, but when I met Johnny, the first thing that I actually said to him was, man, I've hated you for years. I was like, I've hated you for years, and I'm a lifetime Wes Bergman fan. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, man, you made the wrong choice. But I actually spoke to him for quite a while, and I said, these are the reasons why I I haven't liked you over the years. And he actually was like, I can understand that, surprisingly. You know, I didn't really know what kind of response I would get from him saying that, but I honestly didn't care because I'm not the type of person to roll up on someone and like, I'm your biggest fan, and meanwhile, I hate their guts, but because they're there, you know, those people joke about that sometimes. Like those people from the shows, they joke about the fact that there's certain fans of theirs. I mean, there's certain fans, not necessarily fans of theirs, just fans, period, who will be like, yo, I hate this person. They're scum of the earth. Um, I would smack them in the face if I saw them, type of thing. And then they actually see them in person. And it's like, I love you. I'm your biggest fan, because they're not going to say the same thing to their face that they would say. I'm not that person. I would say the same thing to their face that I would say online, or that I would say if I was talking to another mutual fan of the show. Um, but yeah, that was my first experience. And honestly, after meeting him and speaking to him, it made me feel differently about him. And it made me view him a little bit differently. Yeah, they won't burst the grape. It made me view him a little bit differently. Is he my favorite on the show? No, he's never gonna be. But it humanized him, and it's easier to villainize somebody that you're 100% basing your whole experience with them on a TV show edit. And I know that people say, oh, the edits, people, the cast always blames everything on the edit. Yeah, not everything can be blamed on an edit. I certainly agree with that. The show is called The Challenge. The show is called The Challenge. It used to be on MTV. Now it is on Paramount Plus. And actually, I watched back some of his seasons, not because of him, but I just watched back some old seasons. And generally, the things that a lot of us hate him for are things that were allowed back in the day. Like we can all admit that the TV landscape from like 2000, 2005, 2004, those times were a lot different than now, and people were able to get away with doing and saying a lot of things more than what's allowed to be said at this point in time. People get canceled nowadays for things that were just like old hat, if that's the way to use that term. My people are from the coast. I live in Cali. What part are you in? Yeah, so that was my first experience, right? So I've met a lot of different people since then. Some fan favorites and some that the fans hate, right? I've communicated with several people from Big Brother, from Survivor, uh, from The Challenge. And as a matter of fact, I don't talk about everybody that I communicate with. I have some of their personal, phone numbers or contact information. That's not even to say that we're like tight friends, but there are people that I can reach out to and they will respond. We might have a phone conversation or text exchanges or whatever. So these people have become a lot more human to me in the last 3 years, is what I'm trying to say. Can that generate a little bit of bias? Yeah. I mean, obviously it can. It's just like for somebody who watches Friends and Family on a show. It's not exactly like that because, like I said, it's not my family, and these are not some tight friends or anything. But on the other hand, when you don't have any kind of connection to somebody, you don't have any kind of outside knowledge of somebody at all, and you are getting your whole experience of them as a human being from their behavior in a controlled environment while they're playing a game, I don't consider that enough of a gauge to be like F their whole life. You know what I mean? Even if they happen to do or say things within the game that sound like they are grimy or they're deceitful or whatever. Like everybody always talks about there's a way to win with integrity, this or that and the other, right? Sometimes there's things that they do or say that I just wouldn't do, period, in a game environment or outside of a game environment. But other times, there are things where it's just like, you do have to remember, they're on a competition show. They're living wherever they're living, whether it's a house, an island, wherever it is, with complete strangers, with, totally different sets of values, beliefs. Um, Sometimes there's different trigger points. I don't know if any of y'all have lived in a dorm environment. I lived in a dorm in high school and I lived in a dorm in college. I think the one that most closely might relate for me is my high school dorm experience, because being in high school, I was not of the age of consent for a lot of things, and it was very strict. So mostly we couldn't leave the campus. And I was around all these other people, some of them that I liked, a lot of them I didn't like. I didn't even like my roommate. I hated my roommate, as a matter of fact. And I was stuck there, like forced to live with this guy. And we did not get along. And if there was cameras in that room, um, watching some of the conversations that we had, sheesh, man, I can't imagine how that would be. So you get it. Leo energy, we need our space. Libra energy too. Libra energy. I personally, people see me on here and assume that I'm a person that likes to be around people. But think about this. I'm not around anybody. I'm sitting in my car. There's random people looking at me like I'm talking to myself, but there's nobody in my space, right? I only allow people in my space when I choose to have them in my space. Now, for example, like I do a lot of Big Brother coverage, right? If you put 15 people in my space, male, female, whatever and whoever, different colors, races, genders, whatever it is, I have to now worry about, there's it sounds like a little thing, but there's 16 of us using one bathroom, or like two bathrooms if you include the HOH room, right? If I am having a heated discussion with somebody, and then the way that I handle things when I get angry is actually to separate myself from the situation. And that's something that I learned in therapy. Before therapy, if I was angry, I would say whatever I would say in that moment and potentially live the rest of my life with regret of whatever I said and whatever I might have lost, or whatever the other person might feel about what I said, excuse me. But through therapy, my therapist taught me that because of the type of way that I'm quick to like react to things, the best thing for me personally is to be like, hey, I need some space. Just give me a moment, like, and I would go find a corner in the house somewhere where I could just sit, let myself simmer down a little bit, analyze the situation, gather my thoughts, and possibly even, write down some of my thoughts, and then revisit the conversation with that person with a level head and a better perspective. But if somebody was watching me on TV, oh, such and such was just talking to him and he just walked away, then I get the edit. Or somebody takes a clip of that and puts it on Twitter and is like, Mark is standoffish. Such and such was trying to resolve the issue and he just walked away and went in the corner and sat by himself. That's what was happening to Taylor last year. Because I remember when everybody was coming at Taylor, I do remember this point in time in one of the live feeds where she was just sitting in the bathroom with the blanket over her head. And it looked like it was because she just needed a moment to gather herself, but people considered her a B word. This is the kind of thing I'm trying to say. No, I don't cover Zeus Network. I agree, Mark. People get really judgmental. They have to remember it's still exactly the narrative. The show has to make the narrative entertaining, and sometimes that is at the expense of the cast. Actually, I attended this thing. I attended this panel called, I forgot what it was called, but it was a panel about reality TV and mental health. They had like 5 or 6 different reality TV stars on the show. I mean, on the panel, and some of them talked about how they were surprised about how they were perceived when they got out. Like they thought that, oh, I didn't really do anything bad on the show, or like I don't remember anything that would make people hate or dislike me. And then they came out and just saw this whole storm of things, this whole gang of things that people had labeled them as. And it was very hard for them to understand. Um that part. Same thing happened. Oh yes. And I have told some of these people that I've been in contact with that I got my own experience with that. And I'm not even going to mention what it was, but the people who were following my other channel will already know what I'm talking about. There was some of my footage where I said one particular thing in a string of thoughts that I had about a person or an incident, right? A long hour and a half live that I did, and people clipped like a minute out of my video probably and put it on Reddit and tried to make certain people from a certain show think that I didn't like them based on my clip. And I'm like, why would anybody do that? But it made me understand. Like, and then I got a storm of things in my inbox on Instagram, on my email account, calling me all kinds of names based on something that was not even factual. So I could only imagine that happening on a grand scale to somebody who's on a TV show. Uh, I try to separate two. I struggle with how to handle anger too. It is hard when you see that's hard. Yeah, that's actually hard because it's not every situation you get into with somebody where you have the luxury of being able to get the space. Because when you experience that with somebody who lives with you or is somebody who's it works in the same office with you and they don't want to let you end the discussion and it's like, no, we gotta continue with this, that can be really hard. So I understand. I can relate to you there. What's up, Sapphire? Right, it can get brutal, but that's just a growing pain. Don't mention it. You have to starve them out. Being in the public forces you to evaluate yourself differently and view yourself from another perspective. It's not wrong. It can be painful, but it forces growth. I know what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. You weren't here for the beginning of this. I don't know if you were here. You didn't comment at the beginning of this, but here's the thing. You can actually learn and discover things about yourself that you didn't know. There can be cases where you were living your life a certain way and saying certain things, doing things, having certain behaviors, and you didn't know until you got into that environment. So this is true. But there's another aspect of being in the public. Some people will hate you, period. End of sentence. I saw on another channel when I first made my channel, a person made like a 2 hour live feed about my channel, a person I didn't even know at all, never had a conversation or interaction with them. I went through the whole comment section of that video, and people were like, yeah, I hate this guy. Um, yeah, I know him, and this is the type of stuff that he does and says, and I don't like him, and this and that. And I'm looking at this string of things, and I'm like, A, I don't even know the podcaster who made this, and B, how would they have 2 hours worth of stuff to talk about when we've never talked? And C, how does a whole string of people that I've never seen interact on my page say that they hate me? So there's an aspect of being in the public. Even somebody who's a small scale public figure like me, I can walk on the street and 99.9% of people don't recognize me. So I don't deal with that. Now, if I went on a show, right, now I'm a public figure where, let's say, I jump on the challenge or something, right? And somebody that everybody likes is on the show. And I'm like, I want to take that person out. And I make some good move in the game and remove that person from the game. It's a good game move. I got them out. But then somebody's going to walk up to me and be like, I don't F with you because such and such is so beloved. And I don't know why you were targeting them. Like, well, I understand that, but it's also a game at the end of the day. Definitely will. It gets unhealthy when a person has to. And I was talking about this last year. Um, it's sad that it kind of impacts the game in that way because I remember, like, as an example, people on Big Brother last year were like, what are the optics gonna look like of me putting up two black people on the block? What are the optics gonna look like of me putting up two women on the block? You know what I mean? And it's like, if you put up two women on the block, it shouldn't mean automatically that you're sexist. If you put up two men on the block, I mean two black people on the block, it shouldn't mean that you're racist. But that's the kind of thing that people will turn it into. That's where discernment comes into play. You take the things that are helpful and you throw out all the other BS. The challenge is determining the difference between the two. Chew the fish and spit out the bones. I like that. Um, exactly. Now I want some fish. Actually, I am on this live, and the second I get off this live, I don't know if y'all guys will be able to see this, but I'm outside of Wings and Things, and I'm about to get me some fried chicken. But I paused because I wanted to, instead of just leaving and getting my food and trying to come back and losing y'all, I'm like, let me finish out my thought completely and then, hop off here and just enjoy my food in peace. But you make a great point, Sapphire. It's just, I'll admit for myself that it was hard for me because I can do that pretty easily with a person or two in my real life because I've had those incidences at work or I've had those incidences at school or other places or with friends, and I'm generally pretty good with, um, take the stuff that I need and throw out the rest. But when it's a bunch of like random people that you don't know that know you, relationships between TV stars and fans, reality TV stars and fans are not reciprocal for the most part. And they're not, what's it called? There was a word that I had. There was a word that I had in my head that I lost, but the word was just meaning it's not a relationship where you know me and I know you. So if I walk up to whoever from the show, I can give you the playbook. Let's say Sari, like this whole thing with Corey being like, "Oh, I watched you on all your seasons. Uh, I'm a fan. You know, they found different ways to take you out because you're so good at the game. I remember your relationship with such and such. Blah blah blah." I can walk up to Sari and be like, I don't know, symbiotic was not the word I'm looking for, but that could probably fit too. Um, but yeah, I could walk up to Sari and be like, "Hey, Sari, I'm a big fan of your 4 seasons of Survivor, and I thought it was masterful the way that you handled the traders, blah blah blah. Your personality is like this, and I remember this particular situation. And for her, I'm just nameless black guy with a beard, so she doesn't know my playbook, but I know hers, and that's the case with them with a lot of people. And not just that, not everybody can separate what they see happening in a game with real life. And I can. Now, with that said, I know that art imitates life. So a lot of times when you get put in an environment and then you're sitting around, these conversations are being recorded and you're put in different kind of predicaments, it can actually mimic life. And there's sometimes where things come out, such as this Luke thing that we just watched, right? And then I even watched him, he went on some kind of live when he got out of the house, and he never apologized. He kind of said, I wished that that hadn't happened, but he was like, I meant no malintent from it or whatever. But basically, it was just like, I say this. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but it was like the N word. That's just part of my vocabulary. It's just that it wasn't malicious. It wasn't racist when I said it because I say it in my real life. So that was just something that he really, the same discernment that Sapphire was talking about. I think that we as fans also have to have discernment to be able to look at something and be like, how much of this is environment? How much of this is gameplay driven? Um, how much of this is because of being provoked or triggered? How much of this is because of groupthink? And how much of this is just who this person is? There's a line between TV personalities and fans. This is a good discussion, y'all. Even though there's not a lot of people on here, I appreciate those who are. This is a very good discussion. And I'm very curious to see what people say after the fact in the comments when everybody else reads it, watches this. I was gonna make chicken thighs. They're so yummy, and little breadcrumbs on the top. On my music and mental health page, I remember at points when I told everyone that I was a foodie, I was like, man, y'all need to stop talking about food, but you also need to continue because I'm hungry. I thought this convo came out of the Blue Jared convo. No, it actually had nothing to do with the Blue Jared convo, but something I said earlier about the Blue Jared convo is that some things that Jared was kind of saying during that combo make me think that that's not a relationship that's going to last too long if they even try it. Luke is wanting to defend his use of the N word and expects us to co sign it. Yeah. What's up, Justin? Cluck 'em up. I mean, Cluck 'em podcast. You have a podcast, right? if so, I would love to have you on or be on your channel because I'm always looking for collaboration. Yeah, what I said is actually doesn't have any. I have a specific reason why I'm saying this, which you guys will probably come to figure out maybe next week. But I'm not mentioning what brought this up right now. I don't know why I said cluck them up. uh, Jared and Blue aren't gonna last long. It's, I mean, everybody has insecurities. It's just that Blue seems like such a free spirit. So he keeps asking her for all these assurances and assurances and assurances. And she's kind of like, I'm letting you know that I like you. And I'm letting you know that if I like you, I'm going to be committed to getting to know you. And if we get to that point, it's going to be you and me. Whereas he's talking 10 steps ahead and being like, I need to know about this. I need to know about how many partners you've had. I need to know if you had sex with somebody right before you came in the house. I need to know what's going to happen 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line. She doesn't seem to be that type of person. And I know people like that, actually, like him. Like I know male female couples where they have notebooks and they write down, this is what we're planning to do in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Here's every detail about this and that. Blue even seems to kind of get a kick out of the fact that he desperately wants to know all those things. And she's like, wouldn't you like to know? Jared's timing is crazy. 100 cameras in the house, and he's asking that. I think she would have answered. I think she would have answered something like that when the cams are down. Yeah, it was personal. That was actually like a personal thing. Yo, I'm gonna run in and get my food because I need to get the food because I'm on my lunch break. I'm gonna keep this on, and I'm gonna be back in like 5 to 6 minutes. All right. All right. Let's see what's in here. Okay, so to answer Justin's comment, I didn't like the fact that after she said that she feels uncomfortable answering the question, he was just like, come on, like you need to answer this question. Once she said she feels uncomfortable answering the question, um, leave it alone for now. It doesn't mean that she's never gonna answer the question, but yeah, like he was saying, she might not have been uncomfortable. She might not have been comfortable answering it in that moment. And think of the fact that we've only known them, or she's only known him for like a couple of weeks, and she's like, I'm in this Big Brother environment, like give it time, give it some time. Jared needs to understand that a woman's body can. Yeah, that was overall, that was just the. I didn't like when he basically said that the amount of people that you have slept with is going to make my determination on like whether I want to be with you or not. That was kind of wild. That was kind of wild for me. And I mean, if that's your requirement, that's your prerogative. But why are you gonna spend all this time getting to know her and then be like, this is the way that I view things? If you're very like stringent on that, tell her that at the beginning. Be like, it's very important to me that the person that I'm with has only been with so many people, and then that's probably where it would end, honestly. Jared is so insecure. She needs to stay away from him. Watching the feed. These clothes get worse and worse every day. Yeah, I think that like Big Brother compared to other shows, yes, we do get cut out of a lot because I'm sick of the be right back screen and watching the bunnies and the cats and stuff. I'm sick of that. However, we still get way more from Big Brother than we do from other shows. So I've seen so much of Jared talking that it's not like some 5 minute edit of their conversation where I'm jumping to some huge conclusion based on some quick thing. Like we've seen hours of Jared talking for me to feel like these are his insecurities playing out on national television. You think Sari is backing away from the target, his Tyson plan? I don't think that she's backing away from the plan to target him. I just think that she doesn't want it to be known by him that she's targeting him. I think she's still all for this backdoor thing, but she wants to kind of wash her hands of it. And I saw her having a conversation with him on the feeds. I saw her having a conversation with him on the feeds, informing him of all the flipping that was going on. And I think that she was doing that so that she could maintain the trust that he has in her, if he does. I think Jared has boundary. So here's the thing, Cameron. Here's the thing. I just said it's fine for everyone to have their requirements of what they want for somebody in a relationship. But if somebody doesn't fit your mold, one, don't shame them, and two, leave them alone. That's the way that I view it. Like if somebody is extremely conservative, let's say, and the person they're pursuing is very liberal, I've seen a lot of cases where the conservative person expects the liberal person to convert to be like them, right? We just saw this with if any of y'all know in the pop culture, Kiki, who went to this Usher concert, and then she got on stage with Usher, and he performed some songs with her, and walked her around on stage or whatever. And then her boyfriend of the time was like, he made a comment on Twitter about her outfit and was like, "You're a mother. You shouldn't be parading around in that outfit or whatever. Like, it's a bad look, and you're supposed to be a role model type of thing." I'm quite certain. I mean, I've seen Kiki, and I'm quite certain he knew what type of woman that she was. And I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I just mean like he knew who he was getting with when he got with her. Watch them as they go. That's the way that I feel. Um, am I cut off or can you guys still hear me? Let me know. You believe that Jared will vote to keep Riley? Here's the thing: that Jared will vote to keep Riley. I'm not gonna say I think that's the most likely thing, but I think it's a possibility. However, do I think that he's going to campaign to keep her? No, I don't. I don't think he cares whether she stays or not. And I think what he's trying to do is to that he's not really working with them for real. I agree. Jared is going to have opportunities with a lot of. Exactly. One is bound to fit his mold. Exactly. His mold. If you have boundaries, you don't pursue someone who doesn't fit within those boundaries and expect them to conform. That's I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries, standards, expectations, because you also don't have to conform to somebody else. Like if somebody says, you know, I've hooked up with 100 people and you're like, I'm not cool with that. That's fine. That's fine. But that's for you. There's somebody out there for the person who has done that. And sorry, I'm just settling in. There's somebody out there for the person who has done that. And then there's somebody else who's like, oh, I'm a 1-2 person only. Like, you can only be with 5 or less. There's somebody out there that is going to be within that mold for you also. And then also I have a problem. She was telling him that he was being judgy, and he was like, no, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that, like your answer to that question might impact whether I want to be with you or not, type of thing. We going to lose Riley and Kirsten. Those two are for sure they're entertaining. But Cameron, we have a lot of entertaining people this season. We still got Izzy in this house. We got Blue in the house. We got Jared. We still got Sari. We got Mama Fee. Like, this house has no shortage of entertainment. I will say, I will be sad from an entertainment standpoint, keeping Cameron. Not you, Cameron, but the Cameron that is on this season. I will be sad having him in there over Riley, just because I want him to be out. Like, I'm tired of him. But, we have a lot of characters and we have a lot of people who don't know how to play the game, which are making this for an extremely entertaining season. Oh, the live feeds are back up, but you guys know I can't show the live feeds. Cameron is giving groomer vibes. I love the beef between Riley and Heisem. Yeah, we don't have a shortage. We have a lot. We have a lot of entertainment left to go. Trust me. Things haven't even really exploded yet. Izzy was telling Siri to lock in a 4 with oh, so I guess that Izzy is probably strategizing to try to neutralize Corey. Because I kind of assume that that's what that would be for. Because I know for sure that neither of them trust Corey. So it's probably a strategy of like keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer type thing. That would be my guess on what that is. I think that he shifted his interest. Who, Cameron? Really? Like, as in his interest is in who he likes? I can see something happening with Corey, Mimi. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah, I saw on the feed last night that Mimi and America were talking and saying that they want to lock in something with Corey. So I don't know if they had that conversation with Corey yet, but Mimi and America have already spoken about locking something in with the two of them. They're trying to, and then they're like, this is perfect because nobody's looking at us as a threat. Funny how this turned into a Big Brother discussion. But it's okay. After seeing that comp yesterday, I would take out Cameron. I don't know. He was good at challenges. Corey, America, and Mimi shared a moment last night in the bathroom. We just didn't get to see all of it. Yeah, I saw part of it. Yeah, what the part that they showed before they switched out. No, I actually did not see their conversation last night. Yeah, but anyways, y'all, appreciate you all. This has been a great discussion. My time is out, and I want to enjoy my chicken. Shout out to the replay crew who's gonna watch this later. Thanks for those who are on here now who've made this such a really great discussion. I love my channel and the people who have followed my channel, to be honest with you, because everybody always says, oh, I don't like the Big Brother community because they're toxic. And truthfully, I've seen that and I've experienced it personally, but not on my channel. Because I could give you guys an example, like Sapphire, as an example, will come on here since last year, and I might say something, she doesn't agree with what I said. She'll sit there and respectfully explain out her counterpoint, and sometimes I'll agree with it. Sometimes I won't agree with it, but it makes no difference. I don't feel any type of way because the conversation is, like I said, respectful and high level. And that's how it is with everybody on my channel. People come on here and say, Mark, I don't agree with that, what you said. Here's why. I like this thing, or I don't like this, or this is my perspective. That's cool. Actually, that's the thing that makes this interesting. Because if I hopped on here and I said something and everybody just unanimously agreed with it, then what am I learning? What am I gaining from that? I like things that have respectful opposition, where we are able to articulate all of our points and, either agree to disagree, or, disagree, but we keep it moving and we keep it pushing and we keep it respectful. And that's all the people that I have gotten on my channel have been like that. And that's why I keep going with this. It's something that I really enjoy. Sometimes I've had random people be like, oh, Mark didn't agree with this, so he muted me or he blocked me. I don't block people for disagreeing with me at all. At all. I would never block somebody for disagreeing with me. It takes a lot for me to do that, and it depends on what exactly you're saying to me, how you're saying it. And typically it would have to be something you were saying that was either very cut and dry, like I can't allow this, or something that you were saying very consistently to where you're just derailing the conversation. Yeah. But anyways, that's off of that. I'm off of that now because I am going to go enjoy my food. But like I said, I'll be back at least once, possibly more than once, depending on what happens on these live feeds prior to the eviction. But I'll be back for sure tonight after the eviction to give my reaction / recap to all the night's events. So please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, help boost your boy in the algorithms, all that good stuff. Hit the notification bell. I go live almost every day during the Big Brother season. I don't think I've missed a day, as a matter of fact. We're day 12 or 13 or something. I've been on here every single day, usually at least 2 to 3 times every day. Yeah, and let's keep this going. I'm trying to get this page monetized. And talk to you guys soon.
So you literally were one of my very first followers, and then when you followed me and I followed back, I was like, this dude is cool. Like,
if they say talk to your manager, you just say, you know what, talk to the hand. You don't need to be on my podcast. But, yeah, dude. Yeah, you do a great job.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of talking with you on Patreon. You have a really good, view on everything.
That wasn't planned.
You know what? I like this Canadian.
Well,
this one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.